Hey guys, Snupy here. So in this video, I'm going to be going over all my macros that I use for fellow Druid PvP. But before we dive into this though, I want to kind of cover that I'm using focus macros and not like 1 to 3 macros. As some people use like, let's say clone 1 to 3 or kick 1 to 3. And then just like have 3 keybinds for each spell. Personally, I have 2 keybinds for each spell. So like 1 for my main target, 1 focus target. And then I'll change my focus target. So yeah, I use focus macros because of this. But yeah, let's dive right into all the macros I use for feral PvP. Alright, starting off, I'm going to talk about all my focus macros that I use. But yeah, real quick before that, I'm going to show you how I do my focus key binding. I use Alt 1 to 3 to change my focus target on enemy 1 to 3 in arena. So for example, I'll press like, you know, Alt 2, focus the healer, and then do like a bash into a cyclone, for example. But yeah, all the keybinds, or no, all the spells that I use with focus macros, it's cyclone, focus cyclone. I got Skull Bash, my kick. I got Moonfire. This is like really good if you want to stop drinks, for example. If a healer's really far trying to drink, you can just focus Moonfire him. It's nice to have. We got Mighty Bash on cooldown, but yeah, Mighty Bash. Hibernate. Roots. And Wild Charge. So yeah, that's all my focus markers that I use. One thing that I also use for my Wild Charge is the next macro I'll get into. And this is a macro that makes Wild Charge very nice to use, where you can jump to friendly targets very easily by like mouse overing. I think I can jump to these here. Jump mouse over, yep, there you go. And it also functions as a normal Wild Charge as well. And the macro will be on the screen as well. And again, all the macros are in the pastement below. And yeah, now on to the next section, which is going to be mouse over macros. Alright, so now that we talked about my focus macros, we're going to be diving into my mouse over macros. Get that away. But yeah, so for my mouse over macros, I have quite a few spells. But before we dive into that, I was going to talk about like mouse over in general and why it's nice to have. If it's like a big group, it's quite nice to just be able to like mouse over someone, especially like a BG. But for arena, I do want to say that I do use target macros as well, or target keybinds for my team. Target self, target party 1, and party 2. So I kind of like mix up and like use those, use my mouse over sometimes as well. And just kind of mix it up a bit. But yeah, so mouse overs work on like a priority system. As your mouse over, it will be your first prio. For example, if I have, let's just say, this target and this one. If I have a target and then mouse over here, it's going to heal the mouse over. If you don't have a mouse over, it's going to heal the target. And if you have no target, it's going to heal you, of course. So yeah. It's not going to like affect the spell in general, but it's just nice to have the option to mouse over if you want to. Which is kind of why I recommend putting it on the following spells. Okay, so the spells that I use on mouse over are the following. We got, first of all, wait, let me actually target this. He's convoking. Let me target him. So yeah, we got Rejuve. Like this. Do it there, for example. We got, oh, he's running away now. We got, let's do it on this guy instead then. We got Regrowth, Swiftmend, and also Remove Corruption. Remove Corruption is like quite nice to have a mouse over, especially like RBG. But also threes, if your healer gets hexed, just mouse over and get him. And it's very easy that way. You probably like want to have, you know, some kind of big debuff at him, so you can see when he's hexed easily. So you can get it quickly. But yeah, it's quite nice to have this one on mouse over, I say. And then we also have the Wild Charge macro that I showed a bit earlier too. This one, you can actually target him, so it didn't look like a mouse over, but I'll show you again in 10 seconds there. But yeah, this macro is really good, as it functions as a normal Wild Charge, but also a mouse over macro. I tried making this macro for a while, and it was pretty hard to do for some reason. Because it would kind of bug out the Wild Charge in trial form. But the macro that I have now works perfectly. Where it works as a normal Wild Charge in trial form, cat form, every form. But also works as a mouse over jump. Which is very nice to do like to teammates, let's say in arena. If you gotta get back to the pillar. You can just easily, you know, kind of go like this. Target your teammate's frame. Or the teammate, like actually the character. And just jump to them. But usually kind of like use the red frames that you have on. Because you mouse over the frame, press it, and you're going to fly to them. So yeah. those are the mouse macros I use. But again, I have keybinds there to target my teammates that I use a lot too. And I kind of just mix between those depending on what the situation calls for. But yeah. Now on to some other macros that I use that I find very, very handy. And then also a convoke macro that is quite nice to have as well. Alright, so next up we're going to talk about the rake macro. This macro functions as a normal rake as well, but when you're stealth and you spam it, you're going to be finding like people close to you, right? It's like if there's a rogue close, you're going to spam it, it's going to rake the rogue. If there's a feral close in stealth, it's going to rake the feral. So it's basically you can like rake the nearest target. Of course, this is not a stealth target right here, but let's say you move around, it's going to target the close target and then rake them. No target, spam the macro, boom. And yeah, if it's stealth, it's going to get them too. So it's quite a nice macro to have to like find stealth players. Just spam the rake, and yeah, it's good. And then again, just functions as a normal rake when just playing, which is always key. Next up, I think it's quite nice to have this. You don't need to have it though, but let's say you're playing with a paladin. You're facing a mage. The paladin wants to bop maybe like a kidney or something against rogue mage, but you don't want the mage to steal the bop. Therefore, you want to have like a cancel macro for bop and stuff. This is here. Cancel or blessing or protection and blessing or freedom. I have that in my stealth macro as like I'm not really gonna be like pressing or like wanting to cancel bop when I'm going stealth anyways. So like therefore it's just like a nice button to have it on. So yeah, I do recommend having it there. Alright, so before we end the video, I got a couple more macros I want to show you guys, or actually 3 more macros. And the first one is my meld macro. What it does is basically just give you a bit more leeway when you want to meld stun. As if you only meld, once you move, it's going to break the stealth. But if you prowl as well, you can actually move in prowl. So say if target's like kind of far away, you might be stuck in a root, you can just press a macro, it's going to prowl you as well, they can rake them. So it's just nice to have for that purpose. And yes, here, press meld, and it's going to prowl me and cat form, which is definitely nice to have. Big recommend that one. And next up is a cursor macro for my vortex. So basically, same as like a trap macro for hunter. Basically just like throws it down without you having to actually press it and then place it. Just put your mouse where you want to have it and press the keybind, and it's going to vortex instantly. Quite nice to have, as sometimes like just having to like place it down can be a waste of time. You might like prefer that kind of thing though too, if you're like actually want to take your time and place it. But yeah, it's quite nice to have, and I do also recommend it. And the last macro for this video is my convoke macro. It's a very simple macro, but it's very, very good to have. And it basically just macros your badge and convoke together, as they're both a 1 minute cooldown. See if I go rake, convoke, my badge is used and my convoke's used at the same time. And yeah, just want to sync this up. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. And I'll see you guys in my stream or the next video. Take care.
It's a useless waste of time.